Hello my scrappy friends, and a big welcome to my channel today. So today's share is for the YouTube. We haven't actually decided on a name 100% yet, so you will have seen it in the beginning of the video, but it's the scrap lift hop that I am participating in. You should have come from Lalani yesterday, who scrap lifted me, and I can't wait to see what she does. Today I am scrap lifting the amazing, incredible one of my scrappy friends, Sue Plum. I am a huge fan of Sue Plum's. I love her scrappy style. She's a pretty awesome chick too. So yes, I'm gonna see if I can link the video that I'm lifting up in the corner. If not, it'll be down below. I will also make sure I link Sue herself, and you would have seen a picture of her layout right at the beginning as well. So if you follow Sue, you already know some of her signature things. If not, I'm going to quickly show you what I've got here. The layout that I'm actually scrap lifting from Sue is a fairly recent one that she did, and it is an older photo of her and her mum. So I went through my stash and I found this one. This is me and my little brother and my mum. We moved to WA from New South Wales when I was, I think, 6. This was my first day at my new school. So the photo was taken in September 1986. So I've got this photo, and like I said, Sue used a baby photo of herself with her mum. Sue's signature style also includes some gauze, which I always struggle with. So hopefully I can do the Sue with it. Sue also includes doilies, paper doilies in different colours. I decided to go with yellow and green as my colour scheme because my school uniform was yellow and green. So that's what I'm running with there. So that's the stuff that that's very typical Sue. Sue also tends to do really, I love Sue's mixed media backgrounds, but she also does them really quickly and easily, and I'm kind of jealous because mine take me forever. So she's also done some stamping in the background, so I pulled out this stamp. She's also done some stenciling in the background. Now what I've got here is this is just a scrap piece of regular cards, printer paper, and I've just traced around these butterflies that I had previously cut on my cameo, cut them out. I'm going to use them as a mask, and then I've got these ones to go over the top so that I can do a couple of layers. And I'm also going to use some of these open butterflies in the background. Sue has tucked a few leaves and things into her background, but if you follow Sue, you know that she does tend to include butterflies on her pages as well. And then I've also got these couple of cut files as well. All of my cut files today are from Cut to Your course. And then I've got a cut, so the page I'm lifting is quite a pastel colour palette, so I've gone with these two colours. So I've got Lindy's. These are the flat colours. So this one's Bonjour Butter, and this one is Merce Coupe Mint. Actually, I don't think that's the right colour I'm meant to be using. I think I'm meant to be using this one, which is T-Bird Turquoise. I did a couple of samples, and this was the one I ended up with. I am doing some stamping with some archival ink in Ground Espresso, which is the Distress colours, and then I'm going to do some ink blending with Distress Oxide in Squeeze Lemonade and Evergreen Bough. I match these to my sprays. So I'm going to get started, and I will pop you on fast forward. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so Sue actually, when she created her page, did 2 process videos. One is a mixed media background, and one is the actual process video. I just basically followed her steps. So firstly, I've just literally sprayed those inks straight onto my background, my white cardstock. I think it's smooth. I think it's smooth white cardstock. And I've popped it aside for a minute to dry, cleaned off my desk, and then I have used my paper towel to dry off the excess. That's all I've done so far to this background. And I forgot to pull out some acrylic paints earlier, so I went into my stash and I pulled out some acrylic paint. I ended up using just this yellow and then that aquamarine colour, which I cannot remember the name of, but it's a Dina Wakley paint. And you can see I'm just using a wide brush here. Another one of Sue's favourite things to use is that wide dry brush technique. And so I've done that, and it's in such a thin coat that it dries pretty much straight away. Another coat of paint here, and I'm just using my finger. Sue reckons these are the best tools that you've got, and you've always got them with you, and if you're anything like me, you cannot lose them like you do everything else. So I'm just literally dabbing a little bit of colour on, smudging it around. There's not a great deal of thought to where they're going, but just kind of smudging it around. If there's any bits that I don't like, I know I'm going to come back over with this white acrylic paint and my brayer, which just knocks back some of that really bold colour. I really like also how the white acrylic paint kind of knocks back some of those circles that I got from my sprays with the Lindy's sprays. So you can see I'm just adding in this white acrylic paint. Again, it's all so thin that it dries like as soon as it goes on the page almost. My page is not gessoed or anything. And here I come in with my stamping. You can see I'm just kind of randomly adding the ink to my stamp and then stamping it down. And I do that all over the page. And that also dries really quickly. So I'm going to come in here with my stenciling. I thought I would use a piece of paper over the top, but that didn't work because it covered up the bottom of the butterfly that I wanted to stencil on. So I'm just going to use some washi tape here. That serves two purposes. Obviously, it covers up the bit I don't want stenciled, and it also holds my paper in place for me. Yeah. So, and because it's washi tape, it is super light tack, so it comes off very easily. And then I'm just going to move my stencil. This is just cut on regular printer paper. And so I'm going to do my second butterfly. And I didn't realize until after I'd done it, but I did the littlest butterfly at the top, and then the middle one in the middle, and then the biggest one at the bottom. I do tend to do my own pages so that they're more visually weighted at the bottom. So I don't know if that was intentional or if it just happened. I've got my evergreen bow here and my butterfly stencil. You can see I've just placed that straight in to the center there and stenciled that extra detail on. I decided to go back and do this top one. I have sped this bit up pretty quickly. And then I'm going to go right down to the bottom and do the big one. I thought for this page that I would use the plain white butterfly cut files, but you'll see if you haven't already that I end up going with those coloured ones. I thought that I would pop them aside for a different project, but the colours I think just worked really well, and I feel like the white was a bit too stark for what I end up with in my layers here. So I'm just going in and stenciling around that. Again, because this is just regular paper, it is quite flimsy and it moves around a fair bit. So I was just being a bit careful with that. I'm going in with some splatters. This is the yellow spray that I used, and I'm using the nozzle so I get some pretty big-ish splatters. Then this is the T-Bird Teal, and I'm going in with a few more smaller splatters here, just with a little paintbrush. I'm going to pop that aside to dry. I decided to work with the Cocoa Vanilla Studio, what is this collection? Daydream collection. And I'm just building up the layers behind my photo. I wanted to start with this yellow and keeping, so I'm going to go the yellow, and then I wanted to use the wood grain, but here that piece wasn't quite big enough. So I've pulled out another piece, and I've also pulled out the 6x8 paper pad, and I wanted to include a little bit of blue. I felt like that darker blue was a bit too grey, so I'm going to go with the lighter blue with the daisies. And just do a quick couple of layers. I end up, I think, tearing. Yeah, so I tear that there. And like that I've got that peeking out the top and the bottom, I'm going to cut that edge straight. because it was on a curve. I've also included some, popped my photo up on some foam, I think. I couldn't find my distress tool, so I'm just using my scissors to distress the edges of my pattern papers. Lining them back up again. I wasn't sure where I was gonna, where I needed to trim down this wood grain, so I'm just tearing that off there. And I'm really happy with how that is. I ended up overlapping the blue over the top of the wood grain. And that's how my layers are going to stay. I am going to obviously play with some doilies now. You watch me. I play with the green, I play with the yellow, I tried two, I try one, I move them here, I move them there. And I end up with I think the small yellow one, that one there. It was quite funny while I was doing this. I was like, oh my goodness, you are being so fussy. Just put it together already. But, have to get it just right. I thought of adding two instead of one. I think the green just wasn't quite right, so I go with the yellow one. Here is the gauze. No, I've forgotten the name of it. Is that right? Is it gauze? I can't remember. So I'm just going to add that in there. I'm actually really happy with how that's sitting and where it ended up. I surprised myself. I'm going to use my stapler in just a second to... I think I've stapled my layers together. I don't even know. I think I have. Tape and then glue, because I do not want this to come off. Yeah, my layers are all stapled together there. I'm just sticking that down. All right, Charms Creations. Again, Sue used one. Sue uses these heaps, actually, I've noticed recently. And it has really encouraged me to pull out my stash and get some used up. So I ended up using two, an X and an O, the music note paper ones, which I think are really cute and work really well with the colours. You can see me playing there with the butterflies. Yes, I chopped him in half. But I'm going to muck around with these other two bits for a minute. I don't like those two butterflies in line with each other, which is the problem that I'm having here. And that is how they end up pretty much. T-square ruler, because I want it straight. And I've just stuck down that main cluster there. And then I decided to add in a bunch of florals here. I was actually really surprised with myself when I get to it. Normally I muck around and and ah for way too long. And when I was putting this together, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to start sticking. So that's exactly what I did. So you can see I've stuck down my X and my O. I've just used my regular Scotch tacky glue for that. As long as I don't move the pieces too much, they stay stuck and they stick well. You can see I've got that big floral cluster to the right of my photo. And I'm just going to play with some florals for a little while. This video is a little bit longer than normal, but that background has got like five layers or something on it. So yeah, it kind of has more bits than I would normally do, but it didn't take me any longer than what my mixed media backgrounds do normally, and I did more. So I'm going to steal some of Sue's techniques, I think, and use them a bit more often. I don't normally tuck a lot of things behind my cut files like I have here, but again, Sue really did that to give some depth to her page, and I really liked the effect, so I thought I would embrace it and go with it myself. I did struggle a little bit here. At least I don't think that I normally do the visual triangle 3 clusters thing. Like I said, I don't think that that's it's not what I consciously do, at least. But I knew that I was scrap lifting someone that does do the 3 clusters a lot of the time, the visual triangle, and I really wanted to challenge myself to do something that is not what I normally do, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy participating in these kinds of things, because it does kind of challenge you to do something maybe that isn't your normal. And yeah, so I did have a lot of fun creating this page, and like I said, it is a little bit different to what I normally do, which is a bit fun. So I've got my 3 clusters there, so like essentially right down the right hand side of the photo, the bottom left and the top left of the photo as well. Just adding my date in there. So like I said, this photo was taken in September 1986. And up the top there, I've actually used the leftover bit on the sticker sheet that was a rainbow diagonal stripe, and I've just tucked that in as a little layer. It's very subtle. I think you can see it in the close-ups. I can't remember if I took a photo of it or not. But just an extra little something. And then I've added in 3 of these fussy cut rainbows. I'm pretty sure they came out of the 6x8 paper pad. And you can see here I'm going in and I'm ruffling up. So I'm lifting up all the edges of all the flowers and stuff, and then I decided that there was too much wood grain, so I'm just tearing that again, and I'm going to ruffle that up as well, just to mess it up a bit more. And you can see I'm just going in and lifting up all the edges of those florals, and I really love how this has come together. And it was nice not overthinking it. I'm going to come in with some journaling, and it's literally like 2 lines. I think it says my first day at Midland Primary School, and then over here, because I've got the black directly underneath my photo with the date, then I've got the black to the right on that cluster there with my journaling. I felt like I needed to add a little tiny bit more of black onto the left hand side, so I think it says Melinda, Mum and Aaron, that's my brother. And then my final touches, I'm going to add in some of the sequins from the Daydream collection. I have picked out, there's like a peachy yellow-ish colour, gold, green. There's kind of a pinky colour as well. And you can see I'm scattering those in that triangle again. And I'm just going to go in, put down a little dot of glue and then stick it down. And then finally my last touch here is some tiny black splatters, which is very, very Sue Plum. I am using my little fan brush here and Color Blast by B Arty, I think it is, artist ink, and you can see that's my finished page. I did decide that I needed a little something on the right hand side of my page, so you can see I've gone in, I've added a couple of strips of pattern paper, and I've just picked patterns that were already in my layers, and I've literally just stuck them on top of each other on the right hand side, and I feel like that really just brings the whole page together, and I really love this one. So tomorrow with Sue, so make sure you head over. I can't remember who she's scrap lifting, but make sure you head over and check out her channel tomorrow, because she will be scrap lifting someone. This is an awesome hop. It's going for like over a month. I really hope that you enjoy it. I've really enjoyed being a part of it. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to sharing my next process with you very soon.